Okay. Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to this week's video. I got Scott over here to my left. I got Devin over here to my far right, and I got Greg to my immediate right. Before we get into it, please smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, ring that bell so you know when we do a new video, and comment on the videos and share. Okay, so the first story we have this week is about Fani Willis and the trial that is going on, and she thinks that she shouldn't even be on trial. And it says, perjury accusations and reports of death threats highlighted a second day of courtroom drama in the Georgia hearing to determine if District Attorney Fani Willis is to be disqualified in the Donald Trump trial. And then down here, it says, from Fani Willis, these people are on trial for trying to steal an election in 2020. Willis says, gesturing to the defense table, I'm not on trial no matter how hard you try to put me on trial. And that doesn't make any sense because she's definitely on trial.
Yeah, she is on trial. That's what it's about at this point.
She's absolutely on trial. I mean, there is definitely, fraud in this case where she goes after Trump and all his campaign managers and volunteers and everything, trying to get them on organized crime, saying they're trying to steal the election in Georgia. When she is going out with Nathan Wade and she hires him as the head prosecutor in her trial.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So you have a woman who's the district attorney for Fulton County, who's having a romantic relationship with, he's not even a prosecutor trial or a lawyer. He's a basically divorce or lawyers from what I understand. So he's never prosecuted a case, but she hires him as the lead prosecutor, pays him exorbitant amounts of money, and then
goes on vacation with him.
To Napa Valley, the Bahamas. Napa Valley is not cheap.
No. The Bahamas are
I'm trying to
either.
find the one they went to. Trips to Aruba, Norwegian cruise,
The Bahamas.
I mean, they've been several different places. I mean, even the judge, when she said she was on trial, looked over at her like, "What you talking about, Willis?"
Yeah, you were on trial here. You know what I mean? But you could see by the way she was acting. I don't know if any of you watched any of the video of her, she was combative. She was yelling. In her mind, she's above the law.
Well, in her mind, like she says, she's not on trial.
Right.
This isn't a trial. This isn't my trial. And it's like, no, this trial is all about you and disqualifying you from being able to try to be the prosecutor against Trump.
Right. Your conflict of interest.
Yeah.
For the fact that, I mean, he was paying for these vacations on his business card. For money he was getting probably.
Oh, but she gave the money back.
In cash,
but even then,
said she had piles of cash just laying around her place. Where are you getting that much cash?
Right, that's another thing. Where's all the money coming from?
I just read an article where her attorney's salary is $110,000 a year.
Right,
but she makes a ton of money. Her net worth is $8 million. All right, she made $2 million. Over 22 to 23.
How do you do that?
At
a $110,000 salary, how do you make $8 million? I need that side gig.
Yeah, no, exactly. I need that
nice
side job. You know what I mean?
I wouldn't do this anymore if I had $2 million.
I'd be retired after a
couple
years.
The whole reason we started, I enjoy this.
Trucking.
No, the trucking, I'd definitely be done with the trucking. Honest. Like, I don't want to be out there anymore. It's getting ridiculous. I've been doing it for 10 years. I'm done with the trucking.
Especially on days like today.
Right.
Well, see, I don't mind the snow. I can drive through that stuff, man. It's the other people, man. Like every year, when it comes to that, it just gets worse and worse.
Okay. Fani, her attorney only accounts for $110,000.
Right.
But she makes $2.7 million yearly. All right.
From what?
Well, it says one of Willis's most lucrative sources of income is a $12,000 speaking engagement fee. $12,000.
All right.
Hold on.
All right.
Are any of us making 12 grand for this? I don't think. I mean,
she has,
from the way that I understand how she spoke on that trial stand, I don't know why anybody would want to listen to her.
Oh, no, I watched the videos. That's what I'm saying. Like, even the judge was looking at her like, no, this is your trial.
Yeah, this is your trial. Right.
This ain't like,
But
we're not like persecuting you.
Think
You're
about it.
on trial to
Right.
see if you are eligible to even be the prosecutor on this thing, on this trial,
She also has
on the other trial. Sorry.
$5 million in real estate. So she owns $5 million in real estate properties, $2 million in blue chip stocks through companies like Apple, Microsoft, and Berkshire Hathaway. And
wonder where she got that information from to invest in that.
she has
Well, that's
600
common knowledge.
No.
You
Yeah,
know
I
what
know.
mean?
I got all my stocks in there. What stocks?
600,000 in gold reserves and 275,000 in savings
Did
accounts.
you say $600,000 in gold?
And that is
Yeah,
what
really
it
nice.
says.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it says
I just want 600,000. It
Dude,
doesn't have to be in gold.
Apparently,
I mean,
it really pays to have connections with the Democrat Party. Is all I gotta say.
district attorney.
Yeah,
So-
it does.
so what I'm hearing though is through,
Well,
let's call it what it is, through corruption,
this
she became rich overnight, essentially.
well that says
or in a very short period of
it
time.
says district
So
attorneys.
now she believes she's above everybody, and I can try you.
Well,
I
that's
can
a-
call you guilty, but don't look at me. I haven't
that's
done
our big.
anything wrong.
That's our
You know what
biggest
I
thing
mean?
is. I'm not on trial. You're on trial. Why are we
Right.
doing a trial on me? It's like because you
you broke the law.
Yeah, you-
Let's talk about the law.
This
You
should
know what I
tell
mean?
you
Right.
right here. The district attorney's net worth grew from an estimated 2 million to 6 million from 2018 to 2022. All right. And then to 8 million from 2022 to 2023. So from 2018, the beginning of the election cycle to the 2020 election,
Right.
she went from 2 million and made $4 million. I don't care if you're charging $12,000 a speaking fee.
Yeah. That's
I
still a lot of speaking fees to make that kind of money.
I mean, it's so you gain $4 million in 4 years. That's $1 million a year.
a year.
And then $2 million in 1 year.
Right. You're not getting that from interest, even though, I mean, it sounded like she started with a couple million, which who knows where the hell that came
Well, how
from.
is she
But
making anything on interest if she has pull up piles of cash laying around her house?
well, that too. Yeah. She just had a bunch of
Yeah,
money,
about
you
that.
know, piles of money laying around to pay her
Yeah.
boyfriend back, you know, for whatever he spent supposedly.
One person sued Elon Musk for who only had 9 stocks because Elon hired the people that in the board. You know what I mean? Like basically they're on his payroll. This story, this isn't the right story I was looking for, but that's what I was looking. But anyway, somebody in Delaware owned 9 pieces of the stock from Tesla and sued Elon Musk and said that because his board was on his payroll, that they basically couldn't have told him no, so they're taking like his stocks away or something, or trying to lower the
They're
value of the
trying to-
stocks.
Right.
It's a really weird. And then the judge said, "Yeah, you're right."
That goes.
So then, like I heard it on the Tim Pool show, and that's where
Well,
he was like, "I own 250
yeah.
of those." Like he just devalued Biden.
It's law.
I'm trying to find it.
It's lawfare. I mean, if you oppose this regime in office right now, they're going to come after you for no matter what it is and no matter why. They're going to try to destroy you.
Okay, here it is. This is the headline. Elon Musk is
yeah.
moving SpaceX out of Delaware after a judge there nixed his Tesla pay package.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying like you can't get paid that much from
Well,
your stocks. Like
right, which that was
he owns the
agreement,
company.
though. He owns
Those
the
are my
company, but they
stocks.
made an
Yeah.
agreement. If he did X amount of whatever in X amount of time, he was to get I forget exactly how much it was, but a big pay package.
yeah,
out of it.
it was his whole pay
He
package.
accomplished the task, and then they went, "Oh, but we don't want to pay you now."
Well, no, that's
Well, no,
that's not-
somebody got mad and sued.
Yeah.
right.
Right.
And then the judge was like ruled in that person's favor, and that doesn't make any sense
But I think it was
because
somebody on the board though that sued him, wasn't it? Saying,
I mean,
well,
somebody
no,
on
we
the
don't
board would
wanna
have
pay
not
you
more than
now
9
because-
stocks.
Yeah,
this
it was
dude
just
that has 9 stocks.
yeah.
Well, but they're still fighting that whole thing about him getting his pay from the original
Well, but
contract of what
Why
he
is
accomplished.
the government involved?
Yeah, why does it take a judge to do it? That doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
This
It
is
shouldn't take any.
The people in this country have lost their place in things
Wait.
now.
Well, the
I
thing is,
just
they're
do
just
whatever
they're
they
just
want.
like here's the thing: they're going after him. They don't want him in there because you know, I mean, his
a
probably
threat.
his political beliefs and all that. But thanks a lot. I hope. I mean, anybody who worked for him in Delaware, he's moving into Texas.
Yep.
So
Time to move.
the judge basically took your job from you. You know,
Yep.
I think
it's
Actually,
just like the
technically,
just like the AOC thing with the Amazon.
that dude who sued took your job as
Right.
well.
Yeah.
They're taking your jobs.
I think you had it right, but you put too many words in there. It's come down to the American people have just lost.
Yeah,
You know what I
pretty
mean?
much.
We've
Because if
lost.
you live
The-
in Delaware and you had a
The
job
cards
making
are
pretty good
all-
money,
are stacked against all
But I mean,
of us
this was a
now.
regular citizen. This was a guy that had 9 stocks. He's obviously
and
a
why-
regular citizen.
so-
why did he decide to do this? He's obviously lost his mind.
So, like the rest of the political climate, the few are starting to say what can and can't happen for the many. He had 9 stocks. I mean, he's obviously in the few category. You know what I mean?
it
And
was
he's calling the shots on stuff now. Why? Why are we doing this?
I would say it's more like they're allowing the losers to say what the winners can do.
Well,
Right.
what's happening is these Democrat states they're destroying themselves. I
They
mean,
are.
Texas, I think, is the 3rd fastest growing state in America.
I thought
That's
it was
'cause
like second.
No, it's 3rd. Out of the 1.6 billion people the nation gained between July 22nd and July 23rd,
Mhm.
nearly 30% are Texas residents. So the 473,453 people added to Texas population during that period contributed to the state's high growth rate of 1.6%, which was the 3rd highest in the country behind South Carolina and Florida. Now, and that's according to the Texas Tribune. So
Mhm.
if you look at New York City, they're losing population.
Right.
California, losing population. They're going to Texas. They're going to South Carolina.
they're
and they're
creating
going to
businesses.
Florida.
They're taking their businesses with
Well,
them.
they're-
They're taking
yeah,
the
they're
They're
jobs
going
with them.
to red states too. You know
Well,
what I mean?
why they're going to
Right.
red states?
Right.
Why? Because the tax rates are better.
Right.
They're not taxed into oblivion. They're not regulated out of business.
Right.
They're not forced to follow this inclusive what's the word I'm looking for, propaganda that they're
Right.
pushing. You know what I mean? Businesses
Right, like California.
right don't want to hire you just because you're gay, trans, lesbian, transgender. They want to hire the best people for the
For the
position,
job. Right.
not the
Right.
person that best fits a narrative.
That's what it used to be. The best
Right.
person for the job got the job, regardless of race, sex, religion, blah
Right.
blah blah. You know what I
Right.
mean? So we need to go back to that.
Um,
Now it's
yeah,
we're,
I
we're
mean-
filling quotas now rather
Right.
than
Mhm.
jobs.
And
Yeah.
that's the very definition of racism.
Exactly.
I mean, our health
You're right.
secretary is somebody with some mental health issue.
Yeah.
Our president.
It
is
does- it- well,
somebody with a
yeah,
mental health
Yeah, it
issue.
doesn't make any sense when you look at that they would hire, like you guys said. I want the best person for the
Right.
job. I'm not going to hire somebody like, okay, well, you're this color, or you're this, your sexuality is this, or
Right.
whatever. It doesn't make any sense. I want the
Right.
best person for the job.
Exactly.
I don't want somebody who doesn't know what they're doing.
Exactly. I'm not trying to fill quotas. I don't personally, I don't care about that stuff. If you can do the job, you can do it right and do it efficiently, you're the person I'm hiring.
Right.
Mhm.
But basically, it's saying that it was unfair when it comes back to when we take it back to the Elon Musk thing.
Wow.
That's true.
They said in 2018 package, the largest in history, awards Musk 20.3 million stocks over options over 12 installments, and was valued as high as 55 billion at the time.
But nowadays, doesn't everybody
It
spend
helped
every-
make him the richest person in the world, but they're saying that it was unfair.
So
It was deeply flawed, is what
It
they
wa-
said. And it's like, well, it's his company for one. You know, he built it.
All right.
He did
He
all the hard
funded it,
work.
he built it, right.
His board set these goals and said, if you can do this, then yes, we will agree to that. And he did it.
Right.
So
and now they want to not
yeah.
pay.
So now they're like, no, we don't want to give you that money. It's like, it's my money.
Right.
But in all reality, it's all his money.
just
I mean, you know what I mean by that. Like,
Mhm.
just to go a
he's the
little
one who built it.
further step in what I was saying about Texas growth,
Mhm.
according to Forbes,
Right.
by the Census Bureau, California, Illinois, and New York, along with West Virginia, Louisiana, Pennsylvania, Hawaii, and Oregon, all lost population in 2023 compared to 2022. All those states are basically left-leaning states,
They are,
except for
Or
West
mostly.
Virginia. West Virginia has a Democrat governor,
Mhm.
and so they're a mixed bag of Democrat and Republican.
Kind of a swing state.
But the rest of them
Somewhat,
are
yeah.
highly blue states,
Right.
and people are leaving.
Mm.
But
Right, because their policies are
because
pushing their people out.
policies are terrible.
the
Maybe
problem
I
is when
mean,
the people leave and they go to the new state, they vote the same policies.
Right, that
You're
is the
right.
bad problem.
That
That
is-
is the bad
They
part.
don't connect the governing style with the quality of life. So they're like, oh, we're just going to go to this Texas. Look how great it is. But then they vote for the same policies.
same crap.
And then when that
And
state's
slowly
destroyed,
turn it
they're like, well,
into-
we need to go here. And then they slowly destroy that state. It's the mindset.
Well, the federal government's doing the same thing. 'Cause
Are you saying
I
like-
remember before before tax season started up, there was like, oh, we're gonna push up the child tax
Tax
credit
credit.
and all that. It's gonna be more. And then I go to file my taxes and I start seeing everything like, well, actually, this is the first year that most people who have kids are going to actually owe taxes. And I'm like, wait, hold on. Is that like what?
The taxes are going to go
Before
up.
taxes, before
your
what I'm
taxes
saying
aren't
is
gonna
like
go up.
before we filed taxes, they're like, oh, it's going to be a good year for you guys. And then they turn around and was like, actually, we want to take more of your money.
Are you-
And
Are you saying they lied?
they always lie, man.
The hell
They
you say.
the hell you
Biden
say.
lying, that's nothing.
Them
new.
mofos.
All right.
Speaking of which, Biden is now going into, I believe he was there already, in East Palestine, Ohio.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
Speaking of lies.
A year later.
He got up there, said something about, my people were right on the ground and stuff, which we
No,
all
they
know
weren't.
because
No,
we
they
were in
weren't.
Ohio at
Yeah,
the
we
time.
live in
I remember
Ohio,
seeing
we
the
know.
stories. They did not.
Those people were
Um,
begging for help.
Mhm.
But the funny stuff is that you see signs from the people there that say, "Don't sniff me," which is, I think, a great
Little
insult.
kids. It was little kids
Yeah.
that were
Yeah.
holding those signs
Yeah.
up.
That's funny. I mean, look,
God bless those little children and
We-
their parents.
like we said, man, we live in Ohio. It was a big thing here. Those people were begging for help.
right.
Nobody
yeah.
came to help them. You know, what I mean, it took a while. Donald Trump showed up though. What he show up with? A lot of water,
Water,
Big
and
Macs,
food. Yeah,
and fish
Water and
sandwiches. I
food,
mean,
yeah.
and those people love that he actually showed up.
Yeah.
That was it's crazy that he's going to go back a year after it already happened and be like, no, I'm showing up. It's like, we don't need you now, dude. We already
Right.
fixed the problem.
Mhm.
I mean, probably not.
Or the
but-
damage is already done, and whatever.
Well,
you're
yeah, the
gonna do
damage is
not
done,
gonna
and
matter.
the damage is. The damage could have been fixed, and it wouldn't be as bad as it is. But because you didn't show up when you were supposed to,
Right
it's just left up for us to deal with this issue now.
now, we got to deal with
Of
the
course,
aftermath.
the damage is already done. We've been dealing with that aftermath in Ohio for a while now.
Well,
Right,
that-
but it didn't have to be that bad.
They got in our water.
They
supply
could
and
have
everything.
stepped in.
They could have just went there and contained the
The blaze.
no.
The
It wasn't
situation?
on fire.
The
It just
spill.
was spilling
Yeah.
under the ground, and it was their idea to blow it up. They're
Yeah,
like,
and then it got worse.
You know-
what we should do here is take this toxic chemical
Send it
And
into the air,
and blow it up. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
for
It's just
everybody
like-
to breathe,
and everything that
No.
goes up
Comes
must
back
come back
down.
down.
Are you talking about the thing?
No, don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it.
But I remember.
But it'd be
like,
funny. It would be funny.
like-
It fit. It actually fit. That was one time it would actually fit.
It
But no,
fit.
don't do that.
Unfortunately,
That's cute.
That's cute.
you guys are killing me. But I remember, Greg, too, in the 80s, with the EPA. I mean, if you were outside with an aerosol spray can, like, hairspray, playing with it,
Ozone layer.
well, yes, there was that. But I mean, it was almost like there was an EPA guy jumping out of the bushes, like writing you a ticket and trying to take you to jail. Now we have a whole train spilling toxic whatever into the waterways, and they're just like, it'll be all right. Or, hey, let's set it on fire and blow it up. That'd be
Right.
good. You know what I mean?
Now the people that are hopping out the bushes are ATF agents.
Hey, here pretty soon
Yeah.
there'll be IRS
Look.
agents.
Yeah, exactly.
I have-
I still can't remember.
I-
I can't remember how many of they armed, but they armed a lot of them.
I have been.
I thought Trump defunded that.
I am not that old.
That was
Before he got
after.
out.
Okay, I'm not that old, and I can tell you
Lies.
probably a dozen
are.
times the world's going to end.
I
I mean, the ozone layer. Then it was
nuclear winter.
nuclear winter. Then we were going into an ice age, which quickly, abruptly changed.
It's out there. I see it. They were right about the ice age. It's right there.
Yeah, it's
It
true.
is snowing.
And global warming, which in global warming, climate change, whatever you want to call it, has been around for 50 years. They've been talking about it for 50 years. You know how many predictions have come true?
None.
Zero.
None.
Yeah.
Right.
I
Okay.
remember when I was in school, in elementary school, they were still talking about we are going to go back into an ice age.
Yes, that's what they were talking
Yeah.
about.
And now they're talking about it. We're all going to die. It's going to be fiery, and you know,
There
all
was
this like what?
There was a
Come on,
time
man.
in the 80s when they said that there was going to be basically global warming, but they said what it was going to do was put us into a nuclear winter. How
Oh,
does something
yeah,
get hot
is
and then
true.
be cold? I don't.
Well,
Words have meanings. I mean,
it is a complete and utter fabrication. If I looked at
Right.
any of you guys, and every day I told you you're going to wreck your car, you're going to wreck your car, and every day you never wrecked your car, but every day I came out with scenarios how you're going to wreck your car.
right.
Who's the idiot here? Me for telling you that you're going to wreck your car, or you for believing me?
All right.
Don't
little of both.
necessarily think it's so much of a fabrication as more of like a sleight of hand, right? If I say, oh, it's going to get warmer, and it will, right? The earth is heating back up because it's coming out of an ice age.
Right. That is
According
true.
to
But
all, our understanding on how the earth works,
Mhm.
that it goes through periods of
Well,
warmth and then
right.
cold and then warmth. That's just how the planet works. You're
Right.
just being led down a path to say, oh, let me just throw money at it
Right.
because that'll somehow fix things.
You know,
Yeah, that
Which
is
it's
true.
never fixed.
But
anything
let's bring
before.
it back to like why Fani Willis is being charged and all that, and how she shouldn't be doing that because of, you know what I mean, like sending her boyfriend to be the prosecutor, all that, and what it all came out to be. It was to take money from Trump. Far left judge, I can't even say his name, Engoron, releases verdict in Trump trials, civil fraud trial, orders Trump to pay more than $350 million in 3-year business ban in New York City.
Right. Well, it's just more
I mean,
lawfare.
it's probably not. I mean, it's probably not going to come to Trump paying that money. He's going to appeal it.
He already
But
said
if they
he's doing
if they made him do it, so if they made him do it, how much did they say Mar-a-Lago was worth? 20 million.
28.
So
I
they
think,
get
is what they
20,
said.
$28 million. So they could just take that out of the 350. They could take all of his properties in New York City. I mean, it was a way to just destroy Trump.
Please forgive us, as this is done at my house, and,
People running around.
and there's going to be some groceries coming in the door as we got a little later start than we wanted to today. So if there's a little noise like that, just ignore it. It's all good. But
yeah, what do you guys think about that? Like, it's the, you know what I mean? I think it was just a way to try to
They're trying.
steal. It's a way to
It's-
try to steal Trump's
It's absurd.
It's
Is what it
properties.
is.
To steal his
It's still
properties.
war funds. They want
yeah.
they want to push him to the point where he
It's-
doesn't have any money to run.
right,
Well, I think it's to
Right.
steal his, it's
Exactly.
to steal it from him.
It's
You know
not,
what I mean?
Not necessarily to steal it. They are doing everything in their
It's extortion.
possible power to break this man. This is
Oh, I
election
know.
interference. That's what this is.
Uh-oh.
He's
I was
got
gonna say that.
1, 2, 3 cases against him. All right. And what, 91 felonies, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Going against him. So this judge right here, who's a total fraud, total scam. This is nothing but lawfare.
He's a lot more than that, but we won't.
Well,
say
right,
it.
but I'm saying he had a verdict before the trial ever started.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
He was
Yeah.
like, we've already proven fraud. Therefore, next question. Is
Yeah, I
basically
mean,
what he
why
was
have
saying.
a trial? That he wouldn't let his Trump's lawyer speak. He
Really?
wouldn't let any evidence in. The witnesses saying no, there's no fraud here.
Right.
They didn't care.
How
You know
is
what I
that
mean?
due process?
How is there fraud with no victim? Who did he fraud?
Right, exactly. Because isn't all this about like a loan he took out against his property that he repaid
Yes.
with interest? So where is the
And
crime?
the representative from the
crime?
bank came, sat on the witness stand, and said, "No, he didn't do anything wrong. He paid us the money back. We made money.
Yeah, we've made interest. Yeah, everybody's happy.
Everybody's happy. Who did he fraud?"
Where is the crime? That's so they're going back to the old saying of you show me the man and I'll show you the crime.
That's exactly what
Yeah.
they're doing.
And that's
That's against the
Gestapo,
Constitution.
right? That's
I would say that's old Russian tactics,
Right.
but after the interview, I don't know if that is
KGB,
Russian
This
tactics.
is political persecution.
It's political
Absolutely.
persecution.
That's what it is.
Yep.
It is the very sign that you look for when you're looking for a tyrannical type of system
Mhm.
is starting to become more and more evident.
Right.
We
When it's not just to hurt him.
Okay,
though,
look.
either it's to hurt all of the American people.
Trump's media merger with DWAC gets regulatory nod. Trump could get a stake worth $4 billion. So they can't ruin this man. They are trying everything they can to take everything from him, and he's just making more money.
well,
He just keeps brushing them off.
Yeah,
Like,
he's
go
making moves.
away.
Like
Yeah.
he could. I mean, if it, say he goes to the Supreme Court, which he would probably end up taking it all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States. But say New York's Supreme Court says, nope, you owe us $350 million, and if you don't pay us, we're going to start taking your properties. Well, he can just take that stock,
All right.
trade it in, you know what I mean, and then just pay it off. And he's like, yeah, you can't touch my stuff.
You're right. But it should never come to that.
No, it shouldn't come to that, man. It's
And if our judicial system is going to do things blatantly corrupt like that,
it's in your face corrupt.
when is something going to change? When is somebody going to come along and change that? I mean, it goes against, like you said earlier, our Constitution.
It is 100%
Who's
our
gonna,
Constitution.
who's upholding
I-
that?
I
Right.
can't. You cannot just search a man's life and try to find the crime that he committed, so you
Right.
can persecute him for it. That's against the illegal search and seizure.
Right.
You know, I mean, that's against your constitutional
And
rights.
again, I still haven't found a crime yet.
There
They're
is no
just
crime.
right. They're
They
just
haven't found one, no.
prosecuting
They just-
him
They-
for being him. Apparently,
for them to
for
say he overvaluated his
property.
overvalued his property. The banks who gave him the loans,
Mhm.
they sent their own auditor, their own
appraiser.
appraiser,
Yeah.
Right.
and they said, "Hey, this is good." The bank told, "Okay," they said it's good, and like that's all part of the business. When you do that, like when you buy a house, the bank's not just going to let you buy a house if they're loaning you money to get it.
Right.
The bank sends an appraiser and says, yes, that property is actually valued at that. So we'll
That
give
or
you the money
higher, right.
to get the house if you still want it.
On the bottom,
And they'll also tell you if the property is not worth
Yeah,
that.
right.
And then we're not willing to give you this property unless you can talk the seller down to this number.
Right.
it's also on the contract Trump uses. It says, use your own due diligence
Right.
in evaluating the worth of the property.
Yeah, and that's just common practice, though.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like, I mean, him
common
saying
practice.
he can say that or not say that it's common practice. If you go to a bank and you say, give me $3 million, I'll at this interest rate, I'll pay you back, and here's my assets.
Right.
Well, they have to evaluate those assets. They
Right.
don't just give you the money. They're going to be like, okay, we're going to value that. We're
Yeah.
going to see what these are actually worth.
Right.
And
The
then
thing-
we're going to move forward from there. And then they could easily say,
The really,
you know, it's not worth what you said it was. So we're not going to give you 3 million, but what we can do is give you 1.5.
well, the absurd
that's
thing
how that
is, though,
works.
is let's just say he did overvalue it. Okay, let's just say
He paid the money back though. So
Right.
it doesn't matter.
And let's just
There's
say
still
the
no
bank,
crime.
Let's say the bank went along with it, and then let's say he didn't repay.
Well, then there's a crime.
Why is there a crime? The bank made that
Well,
deal.
oh,
That
okay, yeah,
bank,
you
they're
got
the
me.
ones that lose the money, not you or me or the government. The bank loses out.
Well,
They made a bad
yes.
decision.
Yeah, and then it could just take the property that you put up
Right.
and then
Exactly.
try to
Try
sell
to
it and get what
recoup
they
from
get.
that,
Yeah, they can
right.
recoup their losses from that. So yeah,
So,
I mean
like,
technically
alright.
there's still no crime. I
Right.
mean the bank
made the
made
agreement.
that. Yeah, they agreed to the
deal,
terms.
right.
So it's not like I mean
They have-
usually the bank has the upper hand.
Right. Well,
It's not you don't when you go in there to borrow money, you're asking for them to give you money.
right.
You're not the one with the upper hand at that point.
No,
you know what I
you're
mean?
not.
They're the ones that say yes we will or yes or no we won't.
Right. And they're not in the business to lose money.
No,
If you want to borrow $150,000 for a house and they go out there and that house maybe is worth $150,000, you might not get that loan. But now if that house is really worth $250,000 and you want 150, they're like, well, if he defaults, we gain $100,000.
Right, we can
in
resell.
equity to
Yeah.
resell. You know what I mean?
The
So-
judge-
on foreclosure. Yeah,
The judge valued it at $18 million.
yeah.
Has he ever been to Mar-Lago?
he has said
The property right next to it was like worth like 30 million.
Because-
You can't even buy a palm tree down there for $18 million.
it says because the estate is zoned as a social club, it carries business expenses, which makes it less valuable on paper than it would be if it were Only a private resident. How is a business worth less?
It has-
What the
If
hell?
I sell a
confused.
business that makes money, it raises the value.
Right.
Mhm.
You know,
Yeah, because it would be like
It
this
brings
is
in
the futures
income.
of this is the futures of this
Earnings,
company. Here's
right.
yes, here's what I make on this company per year. And even if it's just a house that you do business out in, like I basically sell them you can sell your name
If it's
of your
worth
company
Right.
for a lot of money just because you do good business, the reputation of your company.
Right.
And there's like, dude, that property's got a golf course. It's on
Oh, yeah.
the coast, and it has the what is that called? The I can't remember what they call them in Florida, but it's not like the ocean on the other side, but it's like a bay or whatever.
right,
Yeah.
right. Well, yeah,
But
I mean,
it's a
they've-
very, very expensive property.
They've shown us photos from the top. I mean, just at a glance, I mean, I can tell you that is worth, even if it wasn't in the
hundreds of
keys,
millions.
Yeah, I mean, it's worth
Yeah.
more than 18 million just for the house alone. You know what I mean? It's
But-
worth over 18.
Oh yeah, the
mil.
residence alone would be
Right.
at
Just-
least
Small
30s to
question.
40s.
This judge, does he have a license to,
Real estate license.
Real estate
real estate
license,
Does he
business
know
business
how
license.
much, certain things are? Is
No.
he qualified
Honestly,
to do that? Since, I'm just asking the Democrats that would have agreed with this decision because
It was a pony.
Democrats are always like, oh, hey, we want to make sure that the person that we have do something is qualified. So is this person really qualified to make this judgment?
I'll be
No,
honest.
I mean,
I'm surprised the guy's a judge, to be truthful about it.
I mean, it is New
none of
York.
us have been to law school, and we can
Right.
make a better judgment
It
on
is
this
New
than
York.
he could. So, I mean, there is that.
New York doesn't know what they're doing.
no, they don't.
Well, you're right, probably. I mean, that's why I have a firm law, our rule personally of staying out of New York. But
Yeah, I wouldn't even want to go vacation there. I mean, that,
Right.
that to me wouldn't be a vacation. That
Really,
would be.
the only thing I want to see there is the Statue of Liberty. But
Probably the
I can
most
see pictures of that.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
can
really
see
have.
pictures of
any-
probably
that.
the most sane people in New York are the people in the Bronx.
probably,
Yeah. And they're all they're leaning Trump.
And they're pissed.
And yes,
Right.
they
They're
are bad.
and they should be.
Yeah.
I mean, because even us as middle class or upper middle class or whatever, we see how this economy is going, and it's hurting us. Imagine if we were at the lower classes. I mean, we
Right.
would be destitute.
Right.
We would be literally begging for food. You know what I
But
mean?
look how much our food costs at a
Oh,
grocery
I
store. I
know.
mean, I look.
I just
I
showed
s-
you a receipt. A cup of coffee at a restaurant costs $3.39.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
look,
one cup of
gas,
coffee.
didn't gas just go up like 40 cents or something?
Yeah,
I just
that
like
too.
that video we seen earlier this week about Tucker Carlson going to the Russian grocery store.
Mhm.
I actually went through and was like the wages between us and them and
Oh,
everything,
yeah,
and the
yeah.
minimum wage, because it was like, oh, the minimum wage. So I looked up our minimum wage is $15,000 a year. Salary is usually what
right.
people make. That's the same there. It's like it's a
Right.
little under. It's like 14.8 or something like
Right.
that.
But
So
pretty
it's
comparable.
pretty close.
Right. And their
And
food
they're-
is
they're-
a third or less.
Yeah,
of
it's like
ours
what we
is.
would pay $400 for in our grocery store was only $104 at that grocery store.
So they're paying a fourth.
Yeah, we're getting like our whole thing is manipulated. You know what I mean? And they
Our
want us
media,
to
yeah.
they want us against Russia. They want us to me it's all propaganda. I mean, look, this story right here, Marjorie Taylor Greene fires back at Dem Senator Coons over Ukraine aid. Challenge him to fight Russia on the front lines himself.
Right.
No, they want to send your son and daughters to go
Right.
fight that war that we don't even have any reason to be there.
Yeah. We absolutely should.
We
not
shouldn't even
there.
be in it.
That's not our war.
Well,
I mean, now we
and-
have funded it.
but they've
of course,
they've already
we've talked about
painted
that.
Russia to be the bad guy, which I don't know who is. I don't really care.
I'm
It's not
starting to
my
wonder.
fight.
I'm starting to
Yeah,
wonder.
it's
I
not my
really
fight.
am.
They're not even a part of NATO, and it's like, well, we want to make them NATO. It's like, but they're not. So why
Well-
are we giving them all this money? They want to give them another $65 billion.
Well, don't
That is, look, we can't even account for all the money we've already sent them. They won't tell us where it's at. They've already found out that some of the oligarchs have just taken off with the money.
Right. It just goes-
Generals have been fired, all this and that. They just disappeared.
Right.
Not just fired, but these
Like
people
when
are just disappearing.
like when they did bailouts way back when, and that money just
Mhm.
disappeared. And they're
Yeah.
like, oh, well, we got to give you more money now because the money disappeared. Well, where'd the first money go? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's time to start. Our government is really hot and heavy on looking at what we spend, how much we make, how much we spend, how much taxes they're in every little crevice of our life. It's time to start going through some other bank accounts, I think, and seeing, really dissecting them and going,
Yeah.
where'd this million
agree.
two come from? Where'd this billion come from? Where'd this,
In my opinion, man,
Bernie Sanders, how do you have 5 mansions?
And he was the one who tell everybody to give up their house. That was
give up their house.
weird.
Yeah.
It was real funny. I watched this on another podcast. And he pointed it out. You could tell the second he became a millionaire because he stopped saying the millionaires and the billionaires, and he just started saying billionaires.
Right.
Because now he's a millionaire. He don't want you. He don't want you
Right.
to come and get his money. It's one of those things, man, where you just. I think if you're a politician, you're supposed to be there for us.
You're supposed to be a civil
You should be
servant.
audited
Oh,
every single year.
absolutely with a
And-
fine tooth comb.
And on top of it, it should be illegal if you are a part of the ones that setting laws and everything.
Right.
You shouldn't be allowed to play the stock markets.
No, absolutely.
It should be
not.
illegal.
You
I mean,
should-
Martha Stewart went to prison for getting some insider information. You
Right.
think those people aren't telling their sons and daughters and their brothers and sisters, hey, take all your money out of Disney, throw it over here.
Right.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
yeah,
Because we're about to ruin them. And
they set policies that affect our market.
there were people during the pandemic that were following Nancy Pelosi's husband's stock trade
right.
and were
Yeah.
getting rich off of
They
it
were making
because
bank.
somehow he's some kind of stock genius. No,
Well,
his wife is the House
Everybody
Speaker.
knows, man. Everybody knows that they make the policy and they know that the policy that's going to institute. So why not make money
Well,
beforehand?
It's like when they announced that they were going to switch all the federal government's vehicles to electric vehicles, and then a
They
lot
found
of
it
them
didn't work.
bought stock into the batteries.
Yeah,
And so, if I can make the policy, and I know what's about to happen, then I know what stocks to buy.
Exactly.
Just
true.
like
That's why I think it should be illegal for him to even be able to do it.
Nancy Pelosi.
Did you see where Nancy Pelosi? But did you see where Nancy Pelosi was asked about that? And she was like, "No, we're American citizens too.
Right.
Like about being
Right.
like, don't you think that politicians shouldn't be
Right.
allowed to play the stock market?" And she was like, "No,
No.
that takes away our right. It's our right."
knowing the chip shortage,
Really?
Yeah.
knowing the chip shortage, he
Yeah.
invested in Nvidia,
Mhm.
knowing
Yeah.
that the prices for
We're
the
going to skyrocket.
Mm-hmm.
graphic cards were going to skyrocket.
Mhm.
And then when that was, and then felt down, when the shortage started to lessen, they sold it.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That is direct
Buy low,
inside,
sell high.
insider trading. I did
Yeah.
see that
Absolutely.
information.
Like I said, Martha Stewart went to prison for a
Yeah.
year for that. Now she went to a country club, but you know what I mean? That's
She-
neither here
I
nor
get it.
there.
I get the image of her in an orange jumpsuit behind bars going, "You call this a souffle?" Like,
That was good though. I like that. That was funny. But I agree that she was in a country club. I mean, let's get
Oh,
it right.
yeah,
Like,
right.
I mean, she played tennis and shit like that the whole time she
Oh,
was
yeah.
in there.
Oh, look, she has a right to $30,000 refrigerators. She's an American citizen.
right.
Yeah, Nancy Pelosi. Yeah,
And you have a right. If you can go out in this country and legitimately make money, I don't care if you have $30,000 refrigerators filled with all the ice cream in the world.
Yeah.
If you do it legitimately,
and I really don't want you to pay more taxes than
No.
me. I want you to pay your, like, when they say your fair share, and I think it's funny when they say that,
Yeah.
it's like rich people pay more than we would ever dream
Oh,
of.
they
For
pay
one,
more than we'll ever
the one
make.
there are ones that don't know the loopholes and everything, but most
still pay
people
more
who
than
have
we
money
make.
pay an extremely big amount of money
I-
into taxes.
Mhm.
I just want it to be 10% across the board, period. Nothing else. If you make $1 million, give me 100, give them 100 grand.
I think it's funny.
You make 10,000, give 1,000.
I think it's funny.
Don't
that-
shake your head.
The Democrat Party
No,
It would
comes
still
out.
be about
and they-
25% less than what you
I
pay
think-
now.
don't care. No.
I think it's funny. The Democrat Party comes out constantly. Rich people need to pay their fair share.
They are the rich
Corporations
people.
need to pay their fair share. Then you got people like Rubin. You've got
Fannie Willis.
Willis. You got Warren Buffett. You've got the owner
100,000.
of Starbucks. The Mark Zuckerberg, Google. You've got Jeff Bezos. The people who heavily support the Democrat Party, the richest of the rich,
Right.
the elite of the elite who own the largest corporations, going, yeah, we need to pay our fair share. We need to pay more taxes. They never pay more taxes.
But they never pay
No.
anymore.
And the
Right.
Democrats
They
are in
just get more.
charge.
They just get more tax
They
breaks.
can change it.
Right.
They can be like, yeah, we're going to change the law so they pay their fair share, but they never do.
Trump,
Right, they
Trump,
never do,
told,
right.
Trump called Hillary out on stage for
Yeah,
that.
I
You know
know.
what I mean? Like he was like, "No, I do it
We-
because I'm smart. You
Yes.
put them there for
We
your
still-
friends. I'm going to use them."
Right.
And who could blame
That's
you?
something I do want to see. We never did get to see Hillary Clinton's tax returns, did we? I'd like to see those numbers.
She got all
I
her
really would.
she got all her
She-
money tied up in a fundraiser
Look,
somewhere.
the Democrats
Oh,
are
you
really
mean
good.
you mean laundered?
The Clinton
And-
Foundation.
Yeah, that's what it
the
is.
Clinton Foundation.
Yeah,
is a
the
slush
foundation.
fund.
I said
Yeah, it's a slush
fundraiser
fund.
foundation.
Democrats are really good at making everything look good.
Yes, they are.
Right.
But to correct something that I said last week, what was it? Did I say the deal? It was the uranium deal. I said something else last week, but just go
Yeah.
ahead.
Yeah.
I wanted to correct that. I almost forgot to correct that.
No, I mean that's it. They just it's corruption.
It's troubling.
It
times.
is corruption.
They
I
hide
mean,
it.
it's just like what Greg read about the Fannie Willis, $12,000 to speak. Hillary Clinton ran around and did that. She was getting paid $200,000, $400,000.
For
those speeches. Who
making like
wants
half
to
a million
hear,
dollars
like,
and stuff.
Nobody cares that much about anybody to pay them that much. I mean, look, like YouTube stuff like this, like what we do, like, yeah, we are not one of them. We don't get paid for this, but there are some, yeah, we are putting money into this. We are not making anything out of this yet. Hopefully we would do, but
We are negative on our revenue stream.
we are.
We are not in the black.
Yes.
We're not in the black.
But there are YouTube channels out there that make good money because people like to hear them talk. Nobody wants to pay Hillary Clinton to come to a fundraiser $400,000 to hear anything she's got to. I don't. Do you guys want to hear
You know
anything
what-
she's got to
you know
say?
what
I
this
guarantee
is?
she doesn't even say much.
there-
Stand up there for an hour.
There's a mob terminology for that. It's called paying for favors.
Well, yeah, it's the pay to play stuff.
Yeah.
That's what.
Yeah.
So Hillary Clinton, anti-Wall Street, makes all of her money speaking to Wall Street. You know what I'm saying? So I'm against Wall Street. Wall Street is killing the average American, but I'm going to go collect a $500,000 speaking fee talking to the big firms in Wall Street.
Use this.
So
You can take
they
it all the way off, or just have the arrow point.
the thermos is smarter than my co-host here, but that's not
It
the point
is.
here. There's troubling times in our kingdom. The people need to wake up. Let's vote all these idiots out of the Congress and Senate that's been there for 10, 20, 30,
Yeah,
40,
right.
60, 70 years. Because when you're there, when you're in power that long, you create channels of corruption.
Right.
You create means and devices to keep yourself in power. You make rules in the Senate and you make
Right.
rules in Congress to keep yourself in power.
Right.
And if you have that much power that long, your network of wrongdoing is huge.
Oh yeah, it starts to grow.
Yeah.
Right.
You don't think that you've been given power. You think you
Right.
are owed power.
You think you're above
Well,
everybody.
and
right.
You are power.
You are
incarnate,
power.
And it
you
break-
don't deserve
It
anything
breaks
less
my
than
heart
that.
to say it. Term limits for politicians is supposed to be, look, they do a bad job, we vote them out.
Right.
Yanking on my
But we
wire. I
can't.
was like, oops.
That's obviously not working anymore.
But-
I mean, I have a hard time believing, no matter how good a politician you may or may not be, that you're going to be in politics for, like you said, 60, 70 years. Come on. Really? I mean,
When it comes
I think we need term limits,
When it co-
unfortunately.
when it
and
comes
it breaks my heart to say that.
to Congress and the Senate,
I go back and forth with that.
don't
Yeah, I do
like term
too.
limits
I don't
because
either.
if you're doing a great job for me,
I don't want to get rid of you.
I don't want to get rid of you just because time has elapsed. But if you're corrupt
Right.
and you're doing the wrong job, but how far does your corruption go?
Well,
Right.
Are
that's
you
why.
controlling the voter
that-
block
that's
in
why I
your
say-
district?
Right.
when
So
it
you
comes-
never lose?
Right.
Right. When it comes
We
to
don't know.
the politicians, that's why I say they should be. They want to audit us every time. Oh, how did you make all that money? Here we're
Yeah.
gonna come and we're gonna make sure we get more of that money. But
Oh,
they
because-
should be the ones to be getting audited.
Right.
because you are holding a power. You are holding a position of power,
Right.
and you have the ability to do some really grimy stuff
Oh, completely.
and enrich
right.
yourself, not just yourself, but your family. That's what a lot of them do anyway. They don't.
Biden.
Nancy Pelosi. Like, you know what I mean? Yes, Biden, of course. You know what I mean? But I'm saying and Nancy Pelosi, you got her husband does not look that smart. There's no way that he is running around and he is that good at stock exchange.
No,
Nobody is.
It's said that the majority of Congress performs 30% better than the average stock trader. You know, so you have information there. If you're performing 30% better than the average person,
Right.
that's a huge number.
What was
Oh,
it? Look, during the pandemic, a lot of those people had Disney stock.
Yep.
What'd they do?
Dumped
They
them.
sold it.
Dumped them.
They
Yep.
sold it because
Yeah.
nobody else knew yet, but they
Yep.
knew.
They knew it was
And
gonna
every
crash.
single one of those politicians started. I wouldn't say all of it, but they dumped a lot of their Disney stock because they knew they were going to have to shut it down because they were shutting the country down.
Right.
They knew, so they dumped their stocks.
Hey, that made me think of something.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, hold on.
No good can
I
come
say
of
very
this.
important things. It really.
I say
helps
no good
people.
can come of this.
I know. That's what I was about to say. It's usually not the way it goes. But yeah, it's just those people shouldn't be allowed to play the stock market.
I just want to know. I want to know where the people of this country went that loved the country and loved their fellow man and so forth, and just wanted to do right by at least the majority. We know you can't make everybody happy, obviously, but do right by the majority. Where'd they go?
They got
I mean,
they got
that's-
threatened with prosecution by those that were in power, and they had to leave because otherwise they'd be destroyed. I mean,
man.
you just saw the one story where the person who was the whistleblower for the Biden investigation, right? The
Oh,
guy
the
that
FBI
had been-
agent?
yeah,
Yeah.
no, it was an FBI informant.
Oh yeah. My bad. Yeah, I got you. Yeah.
Been a good asset for 13 years, reliable asset.
Right.
Now, in the midst of this investigation, when everything's finally coming to a close and we're actually finding out the truth about, or the possible truth about these people,
Right.
about the evil things that they've done, what happens?
They arrested him.
They arrest
Yeah,
him.
they arrested him.
Yeah.
They are
arrested him and they
just-
gave some pretty
they
hefty
can't
charges.
stop anymore. They just keep
What the
throwing
poor guy
people in
did.
jail. They keep throwing these investigations on them. They will not stop. They won't stop anymore.
What's that called when you throw your opposition in
It's political
jail?
prosecution.
Yeah,
Right.
It's abuse of power.
Exactly.
And the people of this country are just letting it happen.
Well, I think
Was-
most
I
of them don't pay
mean,
attention.
It's
They
it's
either
time
don't
to pay
care. They
attention.
just.
It's
is
also
your
I can
country.
explain it, man. I don't see how they don't see it.
it's
So,
also
yeah.
kind of an
but I've had
extortion thing.
conversations with people about what we talk about on here, and they're always like, "What? I didn't know that." And it's like,
Yes.
really? Do you have a cell phone? Do you have Google? Like, I mean, most of the stuff is on your front page Google. Well, mine anyway. It's the algorithm. We all know
mine.
how that works.
As well.
But
Okay, so this is what I wanted to look up. It says, according to Capital Trades, congressmen have traded millions in pharma stocks since COVID.
mhm.
Almost 50 members of U.S. Congress have traded extensively in pharma stocks like Moderna and Pfizer.
Yes.
Up here it says in statenews.com that 72 senators and 302 members of the House of Representatives cashed a check from the pharmaceutical industry. So, I mean, who is running this country anymore? It's
Well, I get where you're going with that. Is it the
are
big
representatives
businesses or
is
the
it pharma
representatives? Right.
and-
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know where. I think there is influence there, obviously, and it's from like super PACs and stuff that we've talked about that
Right.
need to go
Lobbyists.
away. Lobbyists, thank you.
Lobbying should be
Yeah,
illegal.
Should be illegal. Super PACs, all that stuff, because you put the money in there, and it always, in some form or fashion, becomes corrupt. I hate to say that because I love money. We all love money,
Oh yeah, I like mine.
but I like money.
I do too.
But
You-
it makes
you get what
things
I was doing there,
corrupt.
right
I
there.
mean, you and we've had conversations before about, everybody's got a number. What's your number to do what? You know what I mean?
Oh
Like,
yeah, everybody has a number. I mean,
And it's awful to say, but it's in our nature too. Like, you know what I'm saying?
I was, about
Like,
to say, I was trying to think of a better way to say it, but it's like there's not really. I mean, you might have a couple people out there, but like no matter how much money there is involved in that,
right.
I'm not going to do it. It's like
And everybody has that too.
Yeah.
There is one certain thing that
Well,
no
everybody
matter
has
what
their
you
morals,
offer
yeah.
them, they will not
Certain-
cross that line.
some
But
people.
how many lines would you cross
would
for the
say-
right amount of
Right.
money?
I
You
would
know
say
what I
some
mean?
people have morals that no matter how much you give them, they would never cross it. But then there's them morals they have that they're buyable. You know what I
Right.
mean?
They're bendable.
Yeah,
right.
yeah, they're
You can-
bendable. You can
right.
buy 'em- you can buy that moral.
Right.
Well,
Exactly.
And that brings us around to the philosophical discussion about people in power.
Right.
If you offer them money, if they are offered power in any which way, the
Right.
people that you are probably going to get in those positions are not
So-
the type of people you really
right. They're
want.
not. They're only out
What
for
I-
themselves.
what I-
Ultimately.
What I think needs to happen, we need to get rid of super PACs.
Yes.
We need to get rid of lobbyists. If you get rid of super PACs, which are basically created to skirt the campaign contribution laws. So if I'm only allowed, I think it's I may be wrong on this. You guys out there can fact check me. I think it's
Right.
$1,500 that you can give to a candidate.
Sounds.
You know
It's
what I
something
mean?
like that. It's
Yes,
somewhere around there.
And that's the maximum donation I can give to any candidate. I can give all the candidates $1,500 each. But
Right.
super PACs, there's no limit. And they work out of the laws of campaign donations. So I could give a super PAC $1 million.
Right.
And they're campaigning and making ads and doing what I want
Right.
for the candidate that I want. So that skirts
The law.
campaign contributions. And what that means is, so let's say during the Hillary Clinton, Donald Trump campaign,
Right.
the people are going to donate to the candidate they want.
Right.
So the candidate that's favored is going to have more money than the other candidate,
Right.
ultimately allowing him or her
Right.
a better chance at the White House. But the
Right.
people are speaking. Who is giving
Through
the
their
money?
money,
The people
exactly.
or
Right.
the businesses.
Right.
Lobbyists shouldn't be able to go into our government and try to sway
Right.
what our government does.
It increased to 3,300 per election per candidate.
Okay, well that's fine.
Just letting you know.
And Biden's inflation. I mean, what's $1,500?
Right.
buy
Right,
you
increased.
a tank of gas and a McDonald's meal. I mean, that's
Right.
about $3,500.
And a haircut, maybe. You might be able to get a haircut.
might-
on that,
No
too.
tip.
But
Yeah,
no tip, and you're definitely not getting the
No fade.
the shade.
The
You know what I
shade,
mean?
right.
Yeah.
It's going to be a bowl cut. You're just going
Right.
to stick a bowl on your head. And go around
Right.
it. But it's so we have outside interests that control our government. We
Right.
have the inability for the people to represent what the government does. It's now the pharma, big business, and foreign money
Right.
that control what our government does.
I would also like to see, I know it sounds terrible.
And the CIA.
I understand it sounds terrible, but I would like to see them go through all these charities as well. A lot of money is hidden through charities like the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, well,
You know,
that is
for-
true.
The Clinton
Yeah.
Foundation paid for.
I'm not saying not to do charities. I'm not saying that, people. Please don't send me hate mail. I'm just saying we need to
I
keep
wouldn't
an eye on where the
fact
money's
check
really
this real
going.
quick, but I believe I'm
what
right.
mean?
to validate that they're truly doing what they're supposed to be doing.
Thank
Right.
you. Yes, exactly.
And I would love to do that. It sounds great. But the problem is that our institutions that are supposed to be watching these things and making sure these things are
They're
being handled correctly are the ones that are
they're getting their
corrupt
pockets
themselves.
filled too, right?
So how do you do it? Maybe we need to make a thing where all the states come together. They appoint people to go in that will review the federal government on, or all the politicians on a large scale every year.
audit them.
So we have
basically?
to. Each state has to send independent, non-governmental
unknown
auditors
Otherwise-
in
Yeah, otherwise there's going to be
to
corruption
check for these
again.
things. Otherwise, there's going to be corruption. But then again, you
Or
know,
maybe-
like with all people, as long as somebody's waving the couple
Maybe-
hundred in front of their face, they're going to turn the blind eye because that's what people do, man. They just
Maybe
cheat the
maybe
system
the
because they can.
military. Maybe the military should handle it.
Okay.
I mean, but I don't know
Military
if
can
they're
be
any
just-
less. I know. I don't know if they can be any less corrupt than anybody else.
I
but-
don't know anymore.
Now, this is a article. There's many articles going from the New York Post to the Independent, Fox News. The Washington Post has no evidence, but a WikiLeaks email suggested that the Clinton Foundation paid for Chelsea's wedding, helped pay for it.
Right.
So you're
ain't
taking
supposed to do
a
that.
nonprofit
Yeah.
organization, charity, should not be paying for things like that.
Right.
Not
That-
supposed to.
And,
yeah.
and it also helped.
That
it-
doesn't
what
sound
the
like
email
charity
claimed
to me.
helped the now, of course, Bill Clinton denied it. Like, no, nothing to see here. I
Right.
did not have sex with the Clinton Foundation. I mean, it's
No, he did. I'm sure he
I-
did.
well,
yeah.
There's a stained receipt somewhere. I'm sure.
Sure.
define that.
Oh, that's-
Yeah, define that.
Define that. Define what relations. I did not have
Wow.
relations with.
I
Miss Lewinsky.
that's where it gets.
Everybody's allowed to do what they want with whatever they want nowadays. You know that.
I don't care what the president.
It's acceptable practice.
Right.
I don't care if there's an intern under your desk. I don't care. Kennedy hits up with everybody. I'm a little jealous. He's like
Marilyn
Marilyn
Monroe.
Monroe. You know what I mean? But it's I don't care. Just run the country.
Right. Do a good job by the people.
Right.
What you do in
Yeah.
your private time, that is your business as far as I'm
Uh,
concerned.
the government needs
That's
to
between
learn
you and
that.
your wife. I mean,
The government needs to learn that what people do outside of in their own life, as long as you're not stepping on someone else's constitutional rights,
Right.
go away.
Right.
We don't need a big brother, big daddy, stomping his foot down on you. You can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do this, you can't do that. You know what I mean? Our laws in this country should be basic. Don't kill people, don't rob from people,
right.
don't
But yeah, we
step
have
on other people's rights.
we have new
Right.
laws that are taking up volumes and volumes of books every year. I mean, to the point that we literally need lawyers to learn them. I mean,
That's not
we don't
lawyers
know them.
understand.
Like we've said it before, most Americans are breaking, some sort of federal law probably every
A
day.
felony.
You know
At
what I
least
mean?
statistics show that I think it's
One
3
fel-
felonies a day,
without
and they
knowing.
don't even know they're
Without
doing
knowing.
it.
Right.
Yeah.
So then that kind of goes back like, can you be held accountable? I mean, you legitimately didn't know what you were doing was wrong. You know what I mean?
Right. Who knows?
I
They
mean,
know,
that's
they know what they're doing is wrong.
yes. In the case of the
Okay.
government and so forth, you're right. I
Guys,
totally believe that
We
they know.
basically have around 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes left for the
Yeah.
show. So
Yeah, we'll go ahead and wrap it up.
Okay.
You got
Sounds
it.
good to me.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything left to say.
I have a
other
lot
than-
to
I
say.
Well,
have a lot
that's
to
true.
say. That like
I do
we
too,
we
but-
did jump around a little
Yeah.
bit this week. You know what I mean? We're trying to get all that under control. But
True.
don't forget to smash that like button,
Yeah.
subscribe to the channel, like the show, share it with your friends on your social media platforms.
I got something to add to that. If you serve the military in this country, thank you for your service. God
Thank
bless
you very much for your service.
We
Yes.
appreciate that. I mean,
I have family in it, so
Yes,
yeah,
I've had family
definitely
in it.
definitely appreciate it.
Yes.
I had family in the military. I tried. I'm colorblind. They wouldn't let me go. They said I'd shoot our own people. But so that was off the table. But I
All right.
appreciate it. God
That's-
bless America. You guys, what?
God bless America.
Yeah.
God bless all the other truck drivers out there.
God
Yeah.
bless.
Keep safe.
God bless you, our subscribers and
Our
viewers.
subscribers
Yeah.
and viewers, right?
And again, remember, share the video.
Yeah,
Right.
please.
Please.
Peace out.
Yep. Thank you guys. Later.
See you.